Welcome to That Little Crafting Place, where we make miniatures and much more. Okay, we're getting close to starting to put it back together. I've been working on the spiral staircase, and as you can see by these pictures, there's going to be a theme. So it's going to develop, and you're going to see the theme come to life in the next couple of weeks. These are the supplies I'm going to be using. There's various bits of wood. I'm going to be incorporating random shapes and objects in this project. You can see the stairs to the right are for the hallways. And my little humpleman, I'm sharing the little embroidery hoops. I'm going to be using those for part of this project. I'm going to let you guess what part those are for. That stage of the project is in process and the glue is drying. I will be incorporating this vintage textile spool in the next stage of this project, but for today you're going to see it become part of the first stage, and then it's going to be separated, as that is part of the second floor of the library. These wooden fans are going to be worked on today in this project. These are going to be used as the decorative stairs for my spiral staircase. So we're going to head down that road right now and get started. What I'm about to construct right now is going to be the center post for the spiral staircase. I'm going to create the center support post for my spiral staircase by combining this vintage spool with a bit of reclaimed dowel. You will see a can of stain there. I'm not going to be doing any staining today. There were just a lot of things going on the desk that day. Now we've reached the point where we're going to take apart our fans and get started on that. Employing the theory of measure twice and cut once. I'm going to cut these a little bit longer than necessary as I work with each of the fans, getting them glued together and processed to begin making the stairs. So I'm going to glue 3 fan blades together at a time to make a sturdy stair. They're kind of thin to make a decorative stair, so I'm going to glue them together in sets of 3. At this point, the glue is still a little damp, but I'm going to give you an idea of how large the stair step will need to be. And you can see how deep the step needs to be. So I'm going to cut them while they're still damp. I don't want the wood to be brittle, and I'm going to use my handy dandy vintage paper cutter to get the job done. They are dry enough so that they're not going to stick together, so I'm going to put them in the vise overnight to make sure that they thoroughly dry nice and straight. So while the stair steps are drying, we're going to head outside, and this is thoroughly dry, so we're going to sand down the support post for the spiral staircase. I want a gradual slope from the second floor down to the first floor portion of the post. I will do some additional sanding once we get these stairs on it just the way I want it. So this is the anatomy of a spiral staircase. I'm going to give you a couple of different designs here so you can see what's going on with it. I want to get the dimensions of it in my head so I know how much I need to cut away from the second floor platform of the library balcony. Now you can see that it's still one piece. I'm going to get an idea of what the circumference of the stairway is going to be once all of the stair steps are on there, and have a good idea of how much I'm going to need to cut out from the second floor balcony. In the meantime, I'm going to be measuring out the distance between each stair step, and we're going to get those marked and move forward. But before I do that, I need to cut the section that I need for the first floor from the second floor. And I've got that all measured, so I know just how much I need for the first floor support, because it's going to be attached to the first floor, and the second floor support is going to be attached to the balcony of the second floor. It's not going to be a separate piece. So now we're going to measure the distance between each of the stairs and get it marked off with tape, and we're going to start cutting lines into the support post to insert the stair steps. This is sort of a reverse engineering of a spiral stairway, because I've never done that before, I'm sort of working backwards on my own, and this way I have an idea the next time I want to make a spiral staircase, I'll have a good idea of where to start first. Pre-cutting the slots for the steps is going to make it much easier for me to glue them in, and I can make any adjustments as I go. And that's kind of an idea what the stair step is going to look like, the pitch and everything, so we're going to move on to the next step. Here I'm just framing in the underside of the stair. As you can see, I'm just using stir sticks to do that. I added these little supports just for my own purposes. I didn't want them to be flimsy. Even though I did put them together in sets of 3 and glued them, I just felt better if I framed in the base. And they're all done. So the next step after this, I added support boards between each stair. My next magic trick is I'm going to be using this expandable foam to create and sculpt the underside of the stairway. I have a particular idea of the kind of stairway I have in mind, and I needed a very lightweight way to get that shape, and I decided that this expandable foam was the perfect way to do that. I have let it dry overnight, and now it's time to cut away to achieve that desired slope of the stair that I want. This expandable foam has become a valuable tool in this process. It was the main component of making the pinnacle roofs for the towers, and I think I'm going to be using it in future projects as well, because I do enjoy the ability to sculpt this foam into the architectural shapes that I need, because I don't have the engineering skills to do miniature designs that an experienced architect or a miniaturist is able to accomplish. This circle represents the step-off for the spiral staircase, and it will be attached to the second floor balcony. Next, I'm going to mark the foam, and I'm going to cut it away as close as I can get to the underside of the stairs. And I have a special reason for that, and I'm going to show that to you right now. I'm taking the inspiration for my library spiral staircase from the following images. In this particular image, you're going to see what I'm going for as far as the underside of my staircase. I have not yet decided if I'm going to add any artistic embellishments or if it's just going to be stained panels. I hope these images will help you have an idea of what my vision is for this spiral staircase. So in order to put the veneer paneling on the underside of the stairway, it will not attach to the foam. So once I have this foam carved away to the desired thickness, I'm going to be adding a layer of paper mache. And it's going to take several days for that to dry from that point. So while that portion of the project is drying, I'm going to be working on the second floor step-off for the spiral staircase. As you can see, the expandable foam is giving me that sculpted look, that desired slope and smooth surface that I'm looking for my spiral staircase. Now the paper mache, and then we wait. The paper mache won't actually stick very well to this product unless I put some glue on there. It has to have some sort of an adhesive surface. It just did not want to grab onto it. So the wood glue is perfect for that. It's what I used for the pinnacle roofs as well. For some reason, that foam and the paper mache just do not get along. So they need to have some sort of a bonding agent between them. I did make sure I put on a healthy layer of paper mache. It's not super thick, but it's thick enough that I'm going to be able to sand it to the exact shape that I want. And I know that all the corners that I need to have covered are going to be covered, and I'm going to be able to then add my veneer. And then after that, we'll be staining the stairway. I'm going to put this stairway in the window of the garage, and I'm going to let it dry for at least 5 days to make sure that I'm going to be able to sand it without any problems. I don't want any soft spots. I'm going to make sure it's thoroughly dry. But there's our finished results for the paper mache. I'm just going to give it a nice smooth down and get that underside surface that I want. And then we're going to put it out in the garage to dry for the next several days. And I think that's going to work out very well, and it's going to give me a lovely sand. And just the perfect surface to add the veneer underneath the stairwell. Thank you so much for joining me today. Please like and subscribe. Please share my channel with your crafting friends. I welcome your thoughts and ideas in the comments below. Please tap that notification button for upcoming announcements of projects and thrift hauls when we have enough to share. But most of all, have a lovely, lovely day.